Okay, let's try setting up Oracle VirtualBox. Once you open the program, it is important that you check that the DHCP server that is built in to Oracle is turned off. So simply go to File, Preferences, Network, click on the Settings tab, DHCP server, and check that Enable Server is unchecked. If that's the case, we can certainly start a new virtual machine. This one here is going to be your server. So once you have a suitable name, choose Microsoft Windows, then Server 2008 64-bit edition. Allocate it approximately 1 GB of memory, and we will create a new hard drive. We will choose the size later. The VDI format is fine, and check that you have dynamic allocated the space. So size wise for the server we will choose 75 GB. When we come to do the client, we'll leave 25 GB of space. So next, and create, and we now have our server available for use. Before we start it, we will check the settings again, and we need to check that the network card on the virtual machine is set to host only. This will allow it to communicate on a private network without affecting the real machine. So we will start it running, and if the first run wizard appears, it's better just to press cancel so that the machine behaves like normal. First thing we need to do is choose the ISO file that we are going to use to load the operating system. So from the devices menu, choose CD DVD, then choose a virtual disk file. Browse to where you have stored your ISO files and choose the correct one. Now if you reset the machine, it will boot from the CD as normal. Now Windows is slowly loading the files required. The first question we're asked is which language do we want to use. So we'll set the time and currency format to English United Kingdom, and this will configure everything else correctly. Once we click next, we can install now and choose the custom setting once it appears. We're going to install Windows 2008 Enterprise full installation. Accept the license agreement and a custom install. At this stage we're not going to worry about partitioning the hard drive, so we'll just click next. And Windows starts the installation. At this point we have just to sit back and wait for it to finish. Okay, now after a pause we need to change the password for the first time. Remember, passwords in Windows Server need to be complex. out of the four possibilities of uppercase, lowercase, symbols and numbers, it must have 3, and it has to be a minimum of 6 characters long. So now that the password is entered, Windows will carry on installing. Now that Windows is installed, several wizards appear. If we tick the box that says do not show this window at login before we close the window, wait for the second wizard to appear, and again we will choose the option do not show this console at login and close it down. We now have a working copy of Server. Before we progress any further, it is always wise to install the guest editions from the virtual machine. So from Devices, choose Install Guest Add-ons, choose Run VBox Windows Editions, and follow the wizard through. So next, next, install. Several pop-ups will happen. We can tick the box Always Trust Software from Oracle and install. And reboot the machine when prompted. And that finishes the installation of Server.